over here.
I am so tired of you acting like you speak for the people of the state of Indiana or the city of Indianapolis. You do not speak for me or anyone I know. Now listen, you two jerks. Jerks on the right.
Good morning, everybody. Hello. Happy Thursday. God, we have so much to talk about today.
It is endless news.
I know, right? There's
too much.
So much to cover, you guys. Coming up on the show today, is there an end to the Russia-Ukraine war in sight? Is there? Dun, dun, dun. Also, a recap of the first DOGE subcommittee hearing. Karoline levels Caitlin, and Pam Bondi is on the war path.
Yeah, she is.
Oh my God, so great.
So great.
And so much more coming up on the show today. You guys can reach us at chicksontheright.com/chicks. I don't know if you can reach
links.
us. So you can see. Did I say what did I say? Did I say chicks? chicksontheright.com/links. Sorry, you guys. It's chicksontheright.com/links where you can find all the things. It has a list of all of the things you can go see. So definitely check that out. And then also subscribe to this podcast. Please do that.
Just click the button.
And listen, like right, if you have been like overindulging in things, which I totally get that, and you need
or if you're unable to move,
if you want to lose a couple pounds, you can do it the smarter way, which is with lean. Okay, don't take those shots. Seriously,
they're causing blindness. Did you see that latest headline? Now the shots like cause blindness. Hello, don't do it. Don't do it.
Visit takelean.com and use code CHICKS20 for 20% off. It's good stuff, you guys. All natural, good stuff. So try it.
Good stuff.
You know what? I should get a David Beckham, Steve. Hey, Daisy, you should get a David Beckham. I should. Just one to clean the pool, you know?
Yeah, just one to just be around to look at.
Yeah.
Don't speak. As long as he just doesn't.
Don't speak. Just stay in that Speedo and clean the pool.
All right, let's get right into the things and the stuff because there's a lot of things and stuff going on. By the way, no, Joanne, we did not plan on our colors today, but it's Valentine's Eve.
I know. I knew she'd give me crap. I actually had on a cream colored shirt and I was like, she's going to give me so much crap. So I changed because of guilt. It was like pre-guilt. So yeah.
I mean, you've got to be festive, man. It's the week of festivities. So it is Valentine's Eve. All right. I think today is going to be the vote to confirm RFK Jr. I believe that's happening this morning.
Hallelujah.
Yeah. Yesterday, of course, we saw Tulsi Gabbard get sworn in finally. So she is now officially the director of national intelligence. I don't know what's going on with Cash. Still haven't heard what's the timing on that, but you know, it's coming. It's happening.
And when that happens and it's like, it is on, you know what I mean? You get Cash up in there and then it's going to get real all up in there. You know what?
All up in there.
And McConnell voted against her.
Yeah. He was the lone Republican.
God, what a jerk.
And he's basically just existing to be a problem now because now he's in a wheelchair. He cannot get around. And so he's literally just hanging on to be problematic.
Yeah. The guy is a tortoise. He's a liberal tortoise is what he is.
Yeah.
He's got to go. Yeah. He's an obstructionist, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's unacceptable. As the former leader of the Senate, he should know better. But he does not. Also, big news yesterday that broke early, like kind of right after our show. I believe there was, you were starting to see some headlines saying that Trump had a phone call to start negotiating the end of the war in Ukraine. They spoke for like over an hour, I believe. And then we started seeing Trump tweet about the plans in Ukraine and Russia. And so he tweeted, this was right before noon. He tweeted, "I'm sending Secretary of Treasury Scott Bessent to Ukraine to meet with President Zelensky. This war must and will end soon. Too much death and destruction. The U.S. has spent billions of dollars globally with little to show. When America is strong, the world is at peace."
Great tweet.
And great tweet. And he also wrote a longer one, which I'm going to make you read. So
Okay,
this
here we go.
is what he said about the phone call he had with Vladimir Putin.
Oh my God. I just
sorry.
Hold on. I think
Get a cough drop.
No, I need different glasses, I think. I don't know if I
okay.
can. Hold on. Let me put on my different glasses because these are more potent. Those I'm just reading. Okay. I just had a lengthy and highly productive phone call with President Vladimir Putin of Russia. We discussed Ukraine, the Middle East, energy, artificial intelligence, the power of the dollar, and various other subjects. We both reflected on the great history of our nations and the fact that we fought so successfully together in World War II, remembering that Russia lost tens of millions of people and we likewise lost so many. We each talked about the strengths of our respective nations and the great benefit that we will someday have in working together. But first, as we both agreed, we want to stop the millions of deaths taking place in the war with Russia and Ukraine. President Putin even used my strong campaign motto of common sense. We both believe very strongly in it. We agreed to work together very closely, including visiting each other's nations. We have also agreed to have our respective teams start negotiations immediately, and we will begin by calling President Zelensky of Ukraine to inform him of the conversation, something which I will be doing right now. I have asked Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Director of the CIA John Ratcliffe, National Security Advisor Michael Waltz, and Ambassador and Special Envoy Steve Witkoff to lead the negotiations, which I feel strongly will be successful. Millions of people have died in a war that would not have happened if I were president. So true. But it happened, so it must end. No more lives should be lost. I want to thank President Putin for his time and effort with respect to this call and for the release yesterday of Mark Fogel, a wonderful man that I personally greeted last night at the White House. I believe this effort will lead to a successful conclusion, hopefully soon. And I
you want transparency? This is what it looks like.
Yeah.
This is what it looks like.
Right.
It's a recap of their entire call. Hello.
I know. That was long. That was you guys 7 o'clock in the morning here. I had to put my heavy duty glasses on for that one. It's a lot of transparency.
Right. It's a lot.
Yeah.
And he did, just as he said, when he said, I'm going to call Zelensky right now, he literally finished this tweet, got on the phone with Zelensky, and then also gave a quick recap of that phone call. And he wrote about that call. I just spoke to President Zelensky of Ukraine. The conversation went very well. He, like President Putin, wants to make peace. We discussed a variety of topics having to do with the war, but mostly the meeting that is being set up on Friday in Munich, where Vice President J.D. Vance and Secretary of State Marco Rubio will lead the delegation. I'm hopeful that the results of that meeting will be positive. It's time to stop this ridiculous war where there's been massive and totally unnecessary death and destruction. God bless the people of Russia and Ukraine. And then President Zelensky also recapped from his perspective that discussion. And he said, I had a meaningful conversation with POTUS. We long talked about opportunities to achieve peace, discussed our readiness to work together at the team level, and Ukraine's technological capabilities, including drones and other advanced industries. I'm grateful to Trump for his interest in what we can accomplish together. We also spoke about my discussion with Scott Bessent and the preparation of a new document on security, economic cooperation, and resource partnerships. President Trump shared details of his conversation with Putin. No one wants peace more than Ukraine. Together with the U.S., we are charting our next steps to stop Russian aggression and ensure a lasting, reliable peace. As President Trump said, let's get it done. We agreed to maintain further contact and plan upcoming meetings.
I still want an audit.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair. That's definitely fair. Trump also spoke from, I believe it was the Oval Office, just about the plans for moving forward on this peace negotiation. Here he is about that.
I think that if you look at the war, the way the war is going, you'll have to make your own determination. I'm just here to try and get peace. I don't care so much about anything other than I want to stop having millions of people killed. Last night, Kiev got hit very, very hard. I want to see people stop getting killed. That war is ridiculous. It should have never happened, and it would have never happened. Yeah, elections.
I think he's right. I totally agree with him. I don't think it would have happened either.
Yeah.
If he were president. So, because he could actually talk to Putin. And people hate that.
Oh my God. The Democrats are all up in arms about it because, of course, they are war hungry for reasons I cannot fathom.
Right.
But they are. And they're not picking up on the temperature of the pulse of the nation, which by and large does want this to end. And so why does it matter how it ends at this point? Do you know what I mean?
Well,
like,
if Orange Man comes in there and resolves it, it's just not that they're going to freak out about it, of course. But we know Biden he didn't do anything as a president anyway. He wasn't even president. So he was incapable of doing that.
And I think there's no question that Americans are sick and tired of it. And we want to see an end. And we have a clip from Tucker to show you about just one more reason why this needs to end and just how corrupt everything about a lot of this war has been. But first, got to talk about healthy hair, skin, and nails. This is the delicious vitamin gel pack from our friends at healthycell.com/chicks. And this is one of many gel packs that are chock full of amazing ingredients to help you achieve whatever your health goals are. Whether you want to improve your heart and vascular health, your joint and mobility, your sleep, whether you want just a daily multivitamin, which is great, and you don't want to like hork down a bunch of pills, because like sometimes, like I can show you. Here is what it looks like. If you just for the hair, skin, and nails, if you were going to take all the stuff that's in this gel pack, which is delicious, by the way,
tastes really good, right?
Yeah, if you were going to take it all separately, this is what that looks like. You really want to hork down all these pills? No,
I know,
you don't.
Right?
You do not want to do that when you can have it all in this delicious gel pack that actually works to make your hair, skin, and nails healthier. And especially now when it's winter, you need all the help you can get. Visit healthycell.com/chicks. Don't forget to use promo code chicks to get 20% off of your first order. healthycell.com/chicks. Code chicks. Okay, let's talk about Tucker and what he saw on a recent trip to the Alps.
Weekend, I had a meeting in a ski resort in the Alps, which is probably the most expensive town in the world. I was not there to ski, for the record, but the whole town is Ukrainian. All the visitors are Ukrainian, and they're rolling into Hermes and dropping $1 million in an afternoon. All through Europe, you see this. The richest people are the Ukrainians. That money is ours. It belongs to me and you and every other American taxpayer. That's where it's going. Second fact, not guess, fact is the Ukrainian military is selling a huge percentage, up to half of the arms that we send them. Half. And I'm not guessing about this. I know that for a fact, not speculation. And a lot of us winding up with the drug cartels on our border. This is a crime, what's happening. Our intel agencies are fully aware of this. You tell me they're not profiting from this. Of course, you think the CIA is not profiting from this? Yes, they are. Can't prove that, but I believe that. But they don't know this. I know this, but they don't know this. They know this. No one is saying it. Like, no American seems aware of this. We're sending these arms to Ukraine, hundreds of billions of dollars, and it's being stolen and sold to our actual enemies. Like, what the?
Yeah. Not to mention like the 20 million we gave to Angelina Jolie to just go over there and pretend that she likes him, right?
Yeah, a bunch of celebrities. We were like, oh, it's going to make such a difference to have Ben Stiller shown on camera meeting Zelensky.
And Jean-Claude Van Damme. Like, okay.
Was he one of them too?
Yeah. That's going to move the needle for me for sure. Okay. Yeah. But that's our money. That's our
money. And we're tired of our money going to this useless, senseless war. Mm-hmm. So, but Democrats have a problem with the fact that they see this as Trump handing Putin a win, saying essentially, sorry, Ukraine, sorry about you losing a bunch of land and Russia's just going to win this one. But this has got to stop. That's the attitude that they believe Trump is taking. They think it's dangerous. And here is one of the clips of Trump talking to reporters that set everybody off.
Ukraine as an equal member of this peace process?
It's an interesting question. I think they have to make peace. Their people are being killed, and I think they have to make peace.
So that did not sit well with a lot of lefties.
Remember when it used to, though? Remember when they used to be about peace? Do you remember when they weren't? I'm old enough to remember that.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, liberals used to be about that. And now they're like, let's go to war.
Let's keep sending them money. Yeah, it's out of control. And our new best friend, Scott Jennings, talked about this very thing on CNN and this whole discussion of like, is this a win? Is Trump handing a win to President Putin? Here is
interesting question.
The United States, it seems like under Trump, is basically saying, we're not going to deal with good guy, bad guy. He's got something, we get something, and that's how we're going to deal with Putin and, frankly, the rest of the world.
Well, I think he's dealing with the mess that was left in his lap. I mean, this war started under his predecessor. I think Biden's rather slow reaction to it every step of the way led to the stalemate that we are currently in. That's number one. Number two, I think Trump and Hegseth are both dealing in realism today. You can't go on forever. The killing has to stop. And the United States and the political will in the United States to fund this forever has effectively run out. And so he talked to them both. Everybody seems to want a deal. This hostage, Fogel coming home, seems to have been the catalyst for some conversations. But at the end of the day, Trump inherited a mess, and now he's trying to clean it up. And is it going to be a perfect solution for everybody involved? No. Do I feel a little squeamish about Russia feeling rewarded or somehow emboldened by this? Yes. But if we stop the killing and we bring peace to these people who've had none for months, and there's some stability in a region that has been wild and unstable, isn't that what we're aiming for here?
Isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it is. Totally. It's also, Zelensky. I just don't like Zelensky, you guys. I don't. Just full disclosure. Talk about transparency. I don't like him. And so I feel like at this point, he's like run the grift into the ground, because I think there has been so much money laundering. He's taken a lot of money from us, and he's like, well, shit, if Biden was still in office, I'd still be able to take that money, and we could just keep this thing going. You know what I mean? And now Trump is like, we're going to stop this. This is stupid. There's no reason for this war. And people, the fact that people on the left are mad at him for trying to make peace, trying to save people's lives,
right?
Essentially, it's nuts. It's nuts to me.
Well, and Scott mentioned Pete Hegseth, who was in Europe to send also a similar message to European countries. This is on your turf. Okay. So if you guys are super upset about it, up your military spending. Okay. Mm-hmm. Stop relying on the US to fight your battles for you, because we're like way across the pond. And by the way, there will not be a single US soldier on the ground in Ukraine. So if you think that that's where we're leading up to, you got another thing coming. And I, for one, was very glad to hear him say that.
God, me too. Yeah. It was a mom of a son who is military age, right?
Yeah, I am not interested in continuing this fight that seems absolutely pointless, and it's going to end the way it's going to end. Can we not just make that sooner rather than later?
Yeah, Angelina Jolie can send her freaking 18,000 kids. Right. She wants to fight a war in Ukraine.
And then also, we would be remiss if we did not point out that Scott Jennings now is aware of our existence. So he tweeted a screenshot that we made from our show yesterday, and just said, hey chicks on the right.
Yeah, that's it though. He's being a little coy, you guys. Coy.
He's being a little teasy, because we would like to have him on the show. We've asked him to be on the show, and now we're just waiting for him to stop teasing us and sending us clips of himself all the time, and give us like a date, man.
Yeah, right. Let's just set it. Set the date.
Just set this date.
Good
so
Lord.
Anyway, that's where we are with Scott right now. There's other news that's happening aside from this whole Russia-Ukraine negotiation. And that is that Attorney General Pam Bondi is on a freaking warpath. And she gave a presser yesterday, and she didn't speak for very long. She was talking. I mean, you'll hear what she is doing, but you can hear in her voice that she gets angrier and angrier the more that she talks. She's so sick and tired of illegal aliens infesting our country. She's had enough, and you can tell that she is so exasperated about it. So here is a little piece of her presser from yesterday.
We're here today because we have filed charges against the state of New York. We have filed charges against Kathy Hochul. We have filed charges against Letitia James and Mark Schroeder, who is with DMV. This is a new DOJ, and we are taking steps to protect Americans, American citizens, and angel moms, like the mom standing right behind me, who you're going to hear from in a moment. New York has chosen to prioritize illegal aliens over American citizens. It stops today.
Yeah. That $59 million that they said we're going to go ahead and just give it, what was it, the FEMA money? We're going to give it to the illegals. Okay, imagine, if you will, if you just took $59 million from the company that you work for and you did that, you misallocated those funds. What would happen to you? You wouldn't just get fired, you guys. You wouldn't. You would go to jail. You would absolutely go to jail is what you would do. That's $59 million. I don't care if it's $10,000. You would go to jail. So I would really like for these people to go to jail. And I mean,
that'd be great.
I really would like to see that, because the accountability of just getting fired is not enough for me. It's just not enough.
She wants to see heads roll.
I do too. And I love her for that.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. And then remember what we talked about Mark Fogel's return yesterday, and admitted this is the first time that we've ever heard of Mark Fogel. Like, we didn't know that there was a whole other hostage in Russia. Well, then yesterday we also found out there was an American hostage in freaking Belarus. And that person is also returning home, is not being named. The family does not want the identity revealed, at least not yet. But one of Trump's special envoys of like hostage release negotiations or whatever was on with CNN to talk about this. And again, I was just like, oh my God, like, look at everything that he's accomplishing in just these first few weeks. It's absolutely incredible.
Just
here. Yeah. And here's the story about that.
Is this happening, do you believe, right now and so rapidly?
It's happening now because the President of the United States has made it a top priority, and he leads through strength, and we all follow him. And so when we all unite, when you see Steve Witkoff, when you see Secretary Rubio, when you see our National Security Advisor, Mike Waltz, they hear from the president, they act. And so now we've made it clear all Americans are coming home. And I want to also be clear, we've turned that attention to Hamas. And I want anybody, Hamas included, to understand that when you hold our citizens, we're coming for them at any cost. And the president has said that. There isn't an or else there, and we will act on that.
Adam's a good-looking cat, isn't he?
Not bad.
Yeah, he's a good-looking guy.
Bad at all.
So he was appointed. He didn't have to be confirmed, that guy. But he's
because he's like a deputy something or other.
It's just, there are badasses everywhere in this administration.
Yeah.
They're all
and they know
place.
the marching orders. They know that the job of this administration is to project strength, and they're doing it. They're all doing the things. They are all doing the things. We also have news about some of these ridiculous attempts by Democrats to block some of the work that DOGE is doing, some of the work that Trump is trying to do. And this latest report that you'll hear from Emily Compagno is that a federal court said, you lower courts don't get to stop this. And so here is Emily breaking down one of the latest federal court ruling.
Find that the government can limit access to federal funds on the basis of the applicable authorizing statutes, regulations, and terms. Essentially, yes, the government can do so in complying with regulations, and then that the previous order does not bar both the president and much of the federal government from exercising their own lawful authorities to withhold funding without the prior approval of the district court, meaning, again, they can disperse the monies that they were allocated within the law, within the confines of the law, and that the government does not have to seek pre-clearance from the courts on terminating funding as long as they have the authority to do it, as governed by the applicable statutory, regulatory, or grant terms. So essentially, the court is confirming what the Trump administration has maintained and what common sense can project, which is that within the confines of regulatory and normal authority, of course, you can do what you want with your own money, and you don't need a court's approval to do so.
That's right.
Go figure. Instead of rainbows all up in our classrooms, we need civics, because
that'd
then
be nice.
more people would know this stuff. How the government works, the three branches. You know what I mean? Like that. I just feel like we're focusing on the wrong things. Like maybe when they start dismantling the schools a little bit, the Department of Education, and it goes back to the states and money starts being allocated in the proper way and things get better. Because I have hope for that. I really do, for our public school system. Maybe, just maybe, they'll start teaching civics. That would be great.
And how to manage money appropriately.
That would also
because
be
this
great.
is another thing that would be great for schools. And speaking of managing your money appropriately, can we just give a shout out very quickly to our friend and sponsor of the show, Zach Abraham from Bulwark Capital Management. You only get the one chance to retire. It's not like, unless you're Brett Favre, and then you get like 17 chances, or like if you're Cher, you get a lot of chances to retire. But most people only have the one shot. So you don't want to just leave it to chance. if you already have a financial advisor, just think about a second opinion.
Or really just think about switching entirely.
Conservative, a shameless conservative who will help you, or at least give you a free know your risk portfolio review and talk to you about how you're managing your finances.
He's really great, you guys. He's really great. He's taught me and my husband a lot about finance. He's a great guy. I say younger. He's younger than us, right? A little younger than us.
I think so.
But he's conservative. He's just a good family guy, good guy, fun guy, but he's just very, very knowledgeable. Very, very good. So, yes. I mean, if you do have somebody, because we had somebody, we switched. We switched to him because he's awesome. We really, really like him. So,
and there's no obligation. Like if you have your risk review with him and you decide, I'm good where I am. That's fine too. There's no obligation, but why not at least get a second opinion for free? You can do it by just visiting knowyourriskradio.com. And I completely forgot that I'm supposed to have our little disclaimer. Oh, so I'm going to grab our little disclaimer really fast because I totally forgot about that. So here is our disclaimer.
Advisory services offered through Trek Financial LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. The opinions expressed in this program are for general informational purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual or on any specific security. Any references to performance of securities are thought to be materially accurate, and actual performance may differ. Investments involve risk and are not guaranteed. Past performance doesn't guarantee future results. Trek 24308.
Okay. Legal schmeagle. There you go.
Legal schmeagalese.
Right.
I saw just a funny meme that I thought, well, this is so accurate. It just needs to be shared. Because whenever you hear the word NGO and you think about, I used to think about NGOs as being so charitable and so helpful and aid. And that's what I thought of them.
Feeding the children.
Yeah, saving the children. But this was perfect. If cutting government funding shuts down an NGO, it is not, and it never was, a non-governmental organization.
It's
so all these NGOs who are screaming about, oh my God, we're going to have to shut down. Well, then you're a government organization. If that's how you rely on funding.
It's obvious we've been funding you. Yeah, you're welcome.
I mean, this is not hard. Right. So anyway, point of personal privilege, if I may.
Yeah,
I about had a heart attack yesterday because I saw my beloved Robbie Williams tweet this quote, OMG, I've just been asked to do next year's halftime at the Super Bowl. So honored, guys. Thank you.
Okay, I'm not trying to be mean, but if you spell honored like that, you shouldn't be able to do an American Super Bowl. Is it just me? Am I the only one? I'm sorry, but no. You spell it wrong.
That's okay. He probably spells color with a U also.
Right. Everything is favorite. So what is that? It's America, man. I want to see like eagles screeching and like Creed out there screaming. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know about this.
But I did, like, for a minute, my heart skipped a beat. And then I was like, this is absurd. Like, there's no way that this is true, because why would anybody even know to select him as a potential performer for the Super Bowl? And then hours later, he did follow up with this tweet saying, I'm not doing the Super Bowl halftime show. I just got bored and decided to get into trolling.
My God. Yeah.
So it's not happening. FYI.
I feel like that wouldn't happen. I just don't think that would happen.
Someday, maybe someday.
No,
but
no.
Yeah, you're probably right. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think it would happen.
All right. On to our girl, Karoline Leavitt, who held herself another presser yesterday. We've just got a few clips to share, and she was phenomenal as always. She started out the presser by just saying, before we even take questions, losers, I'm going to clear something up for you, okay? Because all y'all in the media are all like, we're on the verge of a constitutional crisis. And she was like, bitches, please.
I'd like to address an extremely dishonest narrative that we've seen emerging over the past few days. Many outlets in this room have been fear-mongering the American people into believing there is a constitutional crisis taking place here at the White House. I've been hearing those words a lot lately. But in fact, the real constitutional crisis is taking place within our judicial branch, where district court judges in liberal districts across the country are abusing their power to unilaterally block President Trump's basic executive authority. We believe these judges are acting as judicial activists rather than honest arbiters of the law. And they have issued at least 12 injunctions against this administration in the past 14 days, often without citing any evidence or grounds for their lawsuits. This is part of a larger concerted effort by Democrat activists and nothing more than the continuation of the weaponization of justice against President Trump. Quick news flash to these liberal judges who are supporting their obstructionist efforts. 77 million Americans voted to elect this president. And each injunction is an abuse of the rule of law and an attempt to thwart the will of the people. As the president clearly stated in the Oval Office yesterday, we will comply with the law in the courts, but we will also continue to seek every legal remedy to ultimately overturn these radical injunctions and ensure President Trump's policies can be enacted.
Boom.
Yeah. And it's not just Democrats who are being held accountable. The press is being held accountable too. Like, she spanked them so hard yesterday. It was just a thing of beauty. Nobody's used to it. Nobody's used to this.
Well, I mean, just think what they lived through for the last 4 years. The press had KJP, who was useless, absolutely useless. And now they're getting questions answered, and they're also being put in their place. And they are like, we don't know how to handle this.
Yeah, the new sheriff has come to town.
Yeah, and it's awesome. She also, because there's all kinds of people in the press and out of the press who are like, there's no evidence for anything that DOGE is saying they're doing. There's like no receipts. And so she was like, oh, you want receipts? Here are some receipts.
Actual receipts, we are happy to provide them. And I actually brought some today because all of you know I love to bring the receipts. We have contracts upon contracts that we can send and provide this information to you. Let me be very clear. We are not trying to hide anything. We have been incredibly transparent and we will continue to be. These are screenshots of contracts that DOGE found across our government. This is a DEI contract, $36,000 for U.S. citizenship and immigration services. That is against the president's policies and his America First agenda. This is a $3.4 million contract, a Council for Inclusive Innovation at the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, Department of Commerce, another DEI contract that DOGE identified. I can continue to go through these. Oh, I love this one. $57,000 for climate change in Sri Lanka. What is this doing to continue the interests of the American people? Absolutely nothing. These are the line items across the federal government that DOGE is identifying daily. They're moving very fast. There's a lot of paper that we can show you, but we're happy to do it. This administration has been more than transparent about what DOGE is doing. And here's one of their tweets that they posted about the mine. I believe this is in Pennsylvania, where the federal employee retirement system is being processed. Did anybody know this was even happening in our country before Elon Musk talked about it in the Oval Office yesterday? A lot of Americans didn't. So we are providing transparency and accessibility on a daily basis when it comes to DOGE. And I also have a DOGE daily report, if anybody would like it, on all of the things that they are identifying and finding. We're happy to provide this information to you. We're talking about it every single day.
This is not hard, people.
Somebody said,
just look it up.
Somebody in our comments said that nobody said that DOGE is lying. They are saying that they are. It's like they're accusing him of lying about things. And it's like, or like what I thought it was really hysterical is when they called him out, the left called him out for saying that like it's something about the trans opera was in like one place, or it's like he said it was in one place, but it's actually in another place.
The condom money.
The condom money. Thank you. But they weren't actually talking about the fact that we did that we spent it on something stupid. This is the thing. They're not defending the expenses. They're not defending what we're finding and what she's showing on these receipts. They're just like, I don't like this. I don't like you pointing out the fact that the people who are stealing money from me are bad people. It hurts my feel bads. That's too bad. Grow up. It's an audit.
Because the spending is indefensible. It absolutely is. So all they can do is focus on the process. It's all they can do.
Or just Elon. And they have Elon derangement syndrome at this point. It's just, and everybody with a brain cell can see through it. Like we all can see through that. We're like, we know exactly what you're doing. Yeah. So it's not making it better for the Democrats. They're digging themselves a deeper hole, I think.
I like it.
Yeah.
I do too. I like it a lot. Okay, so last clip from Karoline, and that is perhaps you guys know that when Trump renamed the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, he went through all the proper legal channels to make that change. It is done. It is official. And Google Maps is already reflecting the change. Apple Maps is reflecting the change. Everybody should be reflecting the change because that's the name. And so the AP inexplicably is digging in their heels on this, and they're not changing their policies and they're not changing how they talk about that body of water. And so they have been blocked from certain aspects of the press room and certain parts of whatever they were allowed to do before, because they're not complying with what Trump has ordered. And so Caitlin Collins naturally had to ask about that in the presser yesterday because she is super butthurt about it. And Karoline just leveled her.
White House official made the decision to bar the AP reporter from the Oval Office and the diplomatic reception room last night.
Well, first of all, let me just set the record straight. It is a privilege to cover this White House. It's a privilege to be the White House press secretary. And nobody has the right to go into the Oval Office and ask the President of the United States questions. That's an invitation that is given. And there are hundreds of outlets on this campus, many of you in this room who don't have the privilege of being part of that pool every single day and getting to ask the President questions. We reserve the right to decide who gets to go into the Oval Office, and you all have credentials to be here, including the Associated Press, who is in this briefing room today.
But isn't it retaliatory in nature is the argument, because the reason that the AP was barred, which they said was because they're not using the phrase Gulf of America, they're using Gulf of Mexico in line with their standards. And so the question here is this setting a precedent that this White House will retaliate against reporters who don't use the language that you guys believe reporters should use? And how does that align with the First Amendment commitment that you were just talking about?
I was very upfront in my briefing on day one that if we feel that there are lies being pushed by outlets in this room, we are going to hold those lies accountable. And it is a fact that the body of water off the coast of Louisiana is called the Gulf of America. And I'm not sure why news outlets don't want to call it that, but that is what it is. The Secretary of Interior has made that the official designation in the geographical identification name server. And Apple has recognized that. Google has recognized that. Pretty much every other outlet in this room has recognized that body of water as the Gulf of America. And it's very important to this administration that we get that right, not just for people here at home, but also for the rest of the world.
And CNN's got their fingers in their ears. They're like, la, 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 la. They don't want to deal. They just don't. God, that was just a smackdown, an epic smackdown.
It really, really was. And then on CNN, they talked about the treatment of the press because, of course, Caitlin made this a story. Like oh my God, the poor AP reporters.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, it's so sad what's happening to them. They're basically being brutalized by this White House.
She's a victim.
And so Scott Jennings also talked about the treatment of the press.
Thank you, Carol. The Biden administration treated the press as poorly as any president has ever treated them, gave them less access, answered no questions, no transparency at any given time. Donald Trump's answered more questions in 3 weeks than Joe Biden answered in 4 years. Elon Musk answered more than
and also a lot of the answers.
Come on, Brian. This administration is giving the most access to the press they could possibly want.
Just to be clear.
The thumb was there. The potato is there. He's like, that's not true. Really?
It is true.
It's 110% true.
Mm-hmm.
You thumb. Yeah, oh my gosh, I can't believe he was there.
I know.
I need to see more of that. I need to see more of him and Scott interacting with one another.
Yes.
I gotta watch that.
I know. It's always, I don't know how Scott doesn't have a heart attack like every day, like how his blood pressure manages the people on that show. Because he's always outnumbered by like a lot, So I don't know how he does it.
There's a lot of stupidity in that room.
Mm-hmm. Other folks within the Trump administration are also talking about the media and how they are so conniving. I've always loved Doug Collins from Georgia. I love the way that he talks. I love his accent. I love everything about listening to his little drawl. And now, of course, he's Secretary of Veterans Affairs. And so he put out a little video talking about how much misinformation the media itself is responsible for. Here he is.
Hey, everybody. It's Doug again. I can't believe it. I've been here about a week. And you know the one thing that hadn't changed about D.C.? It's the media up here that like to tell you stuff that they want you to believe. I'm going to give you a breakdown. This is how it happens in the media up here. They take a possibility And then they run with a story because they want you to believe it because they got to write something. And frankly, they don't know what to write because right now President Trump is making progress and this administration is doing what it said, making promises and keeping them. But let me tell you one that's right now. There's a one that's going around in the media right now about veterans benefits being cut. I'm the Secretary of VA. I'm going to tell you right now, that's not happening. They can do hypotheticals all they want. I'm telling you about reality. Reality is veterans benefits aren't getting cut. In fact, we're actually giving and improving services in our Veteran Benefits Administration. They're actually clearing cases quicker. We're doing what we're supposed to be doing. There's also this rumor out there that DOGE is out there, is this infamous thing that's going to take personal information and do that. I'm telling you what, we've got DOGE representatives here that are doing what they're supposed to be doing, and that is looking at our contracts, making sure that we have the best run facility for efficiency to make sure who? The veteran gets the care they need. I'm happy to partner with them to find things that we need to get rid of so that we can put the money where it belongs. You know where that is? Back with our veteran. President Trump's hit the ground running. We've hit the ground running. And like I'm saying, if you want to come for the real truth, come to see me.
I like that guy.
I know, he's so great.
The press could write about his successes. They could. It's just that the press is all liberal, so they don't want to.
Right.
And that shows you what a complete propaganda machine that they have been for years. Mm-hmm. And now that they've got, Trump in office, and he's just he is clicking every day.
Every day they're overwhelmed.
They got to make up crap. They made it up in his first term. They're trying to do it now. And it's just
stop. Well, and the worst part is that they've made it up using our money to do it, to create the propaganda, particularly with USAID. And Matt Taibbi was in a hearing yesterday where he talked about this at length. It was fascinating. Here's just a little bit of it.
And USAID is just a tiny piece of the censorship machine Michael and I saw across that long list of agencies. Collectively, they've bought up every part of the news production line: sources, think tanks, research, fact-checking, anti-disinformation, commercial media scoring, and when all else fails, straight-up censorship. It is a giant closed messaging loop whose purpose is to transform the free press into exactly that consensus machine. There is no way to remove this rot surgically. The whole mechanism has to go. Is there right-wing misinformation? Hell yes. It exists in every direction. But I grew up a Democrat and don't remember being afraid of it. At the time, we figured we didn't need censorship because we thought we had the better argument. Obviously, many of you lack the same confidence. You took billions of dollars from taxpayers and you blew it on programs whose entire purpose was to tell them they're wrong about things they can see with their own eyes.
Right.
You sold us out. And until these rather tiresome questions are answered, this problem is not fixed. Thank you.
And yet another one that is I was a Democrat and now I'm not because you let me down. Because why couldn't you just let it lie?
Tell the truth, or let us decide based on true and factual reporting.
Try not to control people because that's not what America is all about. We hate that. Don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what to think. Don't tell me what to say. Exactly.
Don't tell us what to do.
Don't tell us what to do.
Also, the soy boys on Pod Save America, people that used to work in the Democrat White Houses, they are actually saying out loud, you can tell that they're worried. They're worried for the right reasons because they, of course, are Democrats, so they have crazy ideas about things, but they're seeing all the steps that Trump is taking and they're marveling at it and also lamenting it because it's things that they could have done that they didn't. And so the fact that these three Kermit armed manlets are saying these things out loud, I found extremely interesting.
And also, as much as I want to throw all of Trump's campaign promises in his face, like the price of eggs is not down, you have not ended the war in Ukraine, et cetera, you said he'd do it in 24 hours. I think most voters get that it was a shtick and they're going to give him some time to actually get things done.
Trump is he is moving so fast. They are doing a lot. It's not just the perception of it. They hit the ground running in a serious way. It's genuinely impressive in a dark and sinister way, but it's nonetheless impressive. And if you're turning on the news every day and hearing about all these different things Trump is doing and all the different criticisms coming out of it, you may not like all of it, but in comparison to how people felt about Joe Biden being basically absent. I imagine for a lot of people, it's a welcome change.
The energy, and he's signing things, and he's affecting all that. I think that is playing extraordinarily well.
It's like you don't want to seem like you're opposed to government efficiency, but obviously now they're just rampaging through like the government Venmo and shutting shit off left and right.
I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm just lamenting our situation.
Me too. No, I love it. I felt the same way because I've seen the messaging memos, and it's like, you know, the young people, Gen Z, they like DOGE and what Elon's doing because, you know, they see government as sclerotic and inefficient, and they like the move fast and break things ethos, and they want to get stuff done, and they like the results. And it's like, yeah, yes, of course, we all want that. We all know that government is slow. We all know that government can be inefficient. We all know that the bureaucracy can be bloated. We all worked in the fucking White House. We tried to reorganize the government. We tried to find efficiency. It's hard to do.
And honestly, some of this is pretty annoying because it's some of the stuff we should have done.
Right, yeah.
You know, you could do some of this.
You just got to talk Gen Z to them. You're like, I could dig these Doja Cats. Okay?
Oh my God. That was horrible.
Oh, no.
Oh my God. Who are these people? They have a successful podcast. Like this.
It's one of the top ones.
Good Lord. Okay. So, and they're lamenting the fact that he's going so fast and he's doing all these things. And we don't like waste and stuff like that either. But it kind of goes back to what I said yesterday, where you don't want to mess with a man's pride. I know that they're not really men. They're more manlets, but they also have pride, and their pride is bruised now because they're looking at Trump and they're like, this guy is exponentially better than me. And they're not going to say that out loud, but he is. He can do.
They're getting close, right? Like they're admitting that this is all actually pretty good,
right? Because he's doing the job that you guys couldn't get done. That you say it's like it was so hard. Did you hear him say that? I mean, we wanted to cut waste, but it was really hard, you guys. It was really hard. Let me give you a violin. Screw you. Let's put a real man in there to get the job done, and that's precisely what's happening. There's a real man in there getting it done, and they are like, what is this?
They're flailing. And the jig is up because every Democrat who has claimed to have been interested in stopping fraud and waste and abuse and all of that and promising to do it has just shown through Trump, it can be done. You just have to have the will to do it. And you guys never did. And now
they don't have the will to do anything. They don't even have the will to put up a president that is there and present. He wasn't even the president. It's all theater for these people. These people are theater kids who are now working in government and they tried to run the country. And then thank God we took it over because that's essentially who they are.
Yesterday, speaking of DOGE, yesterday was the very first subcommittee DOGE hearing that Marjorie Taylor Greene is the chairwoman of. And then it's, obviously it's Republican led, but there are Democrats on this subcommittee as well. And one of those members, Democrat members, is Robert Garcia, who is a literal piece of excrement. And he admitted basically on MSNBC that the only reason he's there is to be a problem, to create problems for the Republicans. He said so in not so many words. Here he is.
There's some that may question why Democrats are participating in a committee like this if Republicans are cutting you off at the pass with subpoena power, and wondering if y'all being on committees like this doesn't validate or normalize the work of DOGE, which is certainly going about in anything but normal capacity here as it tries to basically rip out root and stem various parts of government, even agencies themselves. What would you say to folks like that?
Yeah, I would say that first, I have zero interest working with Marjorie Taylor Greene, our chairwoman on this committee, or the House Republicans on this committee to help them with anything as it relates to DOGE. What we're there for and what we're there to do is to fight, to push back on the lies, to bring attention to what's going on right now at our agencies, and to make sure that people know that we are going to fight every single day to ensure that we get Elon Musk out of our private information. So it's important that we are there. Look, if we weren't there, they would have the entire committee essentially to themselves. But let's make no mistake about it. We are not going to be working with the House majority, and we're certainly not going to be working with Marjorie Taylor Greene. I think folks today are going to see us get really engaged and ask really tough questions.
So he has zero interest in saving taxpayer money. That's what he's telling. Nope. He should have just said that. I have zero interest in saving your money. It doesn't surprise me. It tracks. He's a Californian.
Is he? For some reason, I thought he was a Texas guy. Is he not?
No, I think he's a Californian. Yeah, he's a Californian. Okay. Which that
tracks,
dude. It totally tracks. Yeah, you guys don't even know where the money goes. It's like we're gonna set it on fire.
It's just Yeah, oh my God, he's so awful. And so then in the committee, you know, when he got his little 5 minutes, he decided to be just a complete a-hole. This needs no introduction. Just watch.
Ironic, of course, that our chairwoman, Congresswoman Green, is in charge of running this committee. Now, in the last Congress, Chairwoman Green literally showed a dick pic in our oversight congressional hearing. So I thought I'd bring one as well.
It's a picture of Elon.
Now, this, of course, we know is President Elon Musk. He's also the world's richest man. He was the biggest political donor in the last election.
I mean, this is how they're spending their time.
Yeah, he's saying, I have a dick pic, and it's a picture of Elon. Aren't I funny guy?
Clever.
Super funny. I still don't want to save your money. Don't want to save your money. I have no interest in saving your money. I'm just going to keep on setting it on fire and taking it from you and see if we can come up with more legislation on how to get more of it. Because you know that's what he wants to do. These people are criminals.
And they're just fighting for the status quo, which is why they're going to continue to lose, because America was tired of the status quo. I don't know why they don't get this.
The status quo is rife with corruption, and they are stealing from us. They've been stealing from us for eons. I mean, the fact that like people have to scrimp and save and we have to sacrifice. Do you think that jackhole has to sacrifice? No. It's they've lost their way.
And the what's her name? Brianna Keilar from CNN. I think that's right. She had Robert Garcia on after that moment to basically question him. Was that appropriate? Was it appropriate for you to show that picture of Elon and call him a dick? Was that good? And here he is.
Why? But do you think that calling Elon Musk a dick is effective messaging for confronting what is a potentially irreversible transformation of the U.S. government?
Can't believe this is our world.
Well, he is a dick. And I think he's also harming the American public in an enormous way. And what I think is really important, and what the American public want, is for us to bring actual weapons to this bar fight. This is an actual fight for democracy, for the future of this country. And it's important to push back on the chairperson of this committee. I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene talks about having decorum, about bipartisanship. This is the person that lies more than anybody else in the entire Congress. And so if she is going to make a mockery of hearings, I want to make sure that us as Democrats are bringing that same level of energy. And of course, after those comments, we went into exactly what Elon Musk is trying to do: dismantling the Department of Labor, dismantling the Department of Education, dismantling all of our consumer protection agencies. And so it's all important, but it's also important to get the attention of the American public and call Elon Musk out for what he is, and to make people know that Marjorie Taylor Greene is not a serious legislator, and she shouldn't be treated as such.
I have so many words I want to say right now. I'm trying so hard.
Apparently we can, because I mean, if we're going around Congress calling everybody dicks,
everybody's a dick. He's a dick. She's a dick. We're all dicks. Yeah, it's like, okay, dude. This guy he's so in love with the government. You know, like I can't. It's hard for me. I'm watching him, and it's so hard for me to understand that mentality of how people can be in a position where, I mean, I get it. He's on the government. He is the government, right? He's the guy that we're paying. But he's just, so we got to keep it fat. We got to keep it happy. And like, if you're a Democrat and you see this guy calling everybody dicks and like defending, I don't know what, because he's not like he's defending line items on an audit, because he can't do that. God knows that none of these people have done that. But you see this on TV. How are you still a Democrat? How?
That doesn't make any sense. There are happily some normal people on that committee. James Comer is one of them. And here is what he said addressing his fellow committee members.
American people to eliminate Washington waste and stop the theft of American tax dollars.
Right.
And he is delivering on his promise. President Trump has empowered Elon Musk and DOGE to conduct a government-wide audit to identify solutions to curb waste and protect tax dollars. That's exactly what the mission of this committee is supposed to be. And I'm glad that my colleagues on the other side of the aisle have found a newfound interest in waste, fraud, and abuse. With a staggering $37 trillion in national debt, we have no time to lose. A key place to start is improper payments. Since 2003, the government has lost $2.7 trillion because of improper payments. For years, Republicans and Democrats on the Oversight Committee have condemned this waste. But now that DOGE is taking real action, Democrats are choosing to defend the bureaucracy and status quo instead of standing up for the American people.
You guys, when I had my baby girl, I remember somebody got her a onesie that said, I just like something about how I don't even have my first dollhouse yet. And I owe like $30,000 and whatever, you know, because you can look at the U.S. national debt clock and see how it just goes and goes and goes. It gives me anxiety when I look at it. I can't look at it very much. But today, the debt per taxpayer is $323,000 give or take $323,000.
Oh my God.
That's what it is per taxpayer. And these people don't want to try to bring some stability to our overblown government. They've been wasting all this money. I mean, it's like, that's a lot. We are in debt. If this were a household budget, we would be like, we in danger, girl. We got to figure this out because we're not going to survive as a family if we don't figure this out, you know? $300,000. Like if you have a baby right now, that baby already has $320,000 of debt. Can you imagine?
It's insane.
And, yeah.
It's absolutely insane. Am I frozen? I think I'm frozen.
Okay. You're not.
I'm not. Okay.
You're not.
Okay. So moving on, Jasmine Crockett. I'm sorry to subject you guys to Jasmine Crockett, but there were a couple of really interesting things about what she said. These are short clips. I'm just going to run them together. The first is that she called President Trump's victory in November an alleged victory, that he allegedly won the election. So apparently
she's an
election denier.
Oh.
So that's the first thing. But secondly, she's also mad because Elon is not an actual auditor. Like, I guess she's mad that he doesn't have a degree in auditing or something. I don't know. She's so crazy. Here is her diatribe.
Yesterday, and that is a first for me to see someone occupying the Oval Office who's never actually been elected to the Oval Office and actually answering more questions than the person that allegedly got elected. If you are trying to conduct audits and figure out where the waste, fraud, and abuse is, I don't know why you would go to some tech guy. In fact, it was only techies that were sitting there at inauguration. We didn't have auditors. I would welcome auditors to come in and do forensic audits. In fact, he sat there in the Oval Office yesterday and he admitted that he was lying and he was using his propaganda machine to do it when he said that we sent millions of dollars to Gaza for condoms. That was a lie. So let me tell you something.
The gentlelady's time has expired.
It's time for
the
us
gentlelady's
to do
time
our
has
jobs
expired.
and rein in this rogue actor.
The gentlelady's time has expired. I now recognize the gentleman from Missouri, Mr. Burleson.
I love so much that she's called a gentle lady. It's just just doesn't fit. I've also seen nobody that is more upset about condoms than her. She's just so upset about the condoms there.
So upset.
Yeah.
And again, the money was spent. He didn't lie. He misspoke about which Gaza got our $50 million worth of condoms. It's still a ridiculous expenditure.
It is. That's the thing. They cannot keep their eye on the target. Right. And it's when there's this much fraud and abuse, you're bound to make a mistake with where one of them's going at one point. Jasmine, I cannot. And this whole he's unelected. I didn't elect anybody in the IRS, the FBI, the CIA, the CDC. Y'all remember that? Y'all remember how many decisions those people made 4 years ago when you couldn't you couldn't be with your grandmother when she died? Those people, I didn't like. Did you like those people? I didn't like those people.
It didn't matter then. I guess that was not a thing then.
So interesting how they're just so concerned about that now with one person when he's looking for money that's been wasted, that they've wasted. People like her have wasted. Interesting how that works.
You have yourself a cutie patootie new representative from Texas in the form of Brandon Gill.
Brandon, you have made it to purring. You've made it to purring on the chicks. Congratulations to you.
Congratulations indeed. I cannot figure out who he reminds me of. I know part of it is like there's a guy that I had that was in my high school show choir who he kind of reminds me of. But
So
like also there's somebody
now?
famous.
That guy's gay now. He's
no,
with
but that guy has gained a lot of weight and no
really?
longer looks
Oh,
like
okay.
he
I was
did.
gonna say maybe like he and his husband would come visit
No.
you in South Carolina. Okay.
He's not gay. But this guy, I know there's somebody famous and you're going to have to help me figure out who it is. Normally I'm pretty good at that, but I've lost it for whatever reason with Brandon Gill. Brandon Gill, also a member of this committee, and he was on fire in his little 5-minute diatribe. We've got a little bit of it right here.
That Republicans want to cut waste, fraud, and abuse from our federal government and save taxpayer dollars. And Democrats want to grandstand and play politics. We can see right now, even of the 6 Democrats on this committee, only 1 can even be bothered to stay for the duration of this hearing. All we've heard about for most of this hearing from the other side of the aisle is Elon Musk, Elon Musk, Elon Musk, unelected bureaucrat. And I'd like to ask if Democrats really care about unelected bureaucrats making decisions over our lives, where were they whenever their god Anthony Fauci was forcing vaccine and mask mandates on the American people for 4 years during the during the COVID crisis? Where were they whenever unelected Alejandro Mayorkas was facilitating the invasion of our country by illegal aliens who were murdering and raping and pillaging our people? Where were they whenever the Secretary of Education, unelected Cardona, targeted states and schools and people who were disagreed with his view of the radical left's transgender ideology? Where were they whenever Gary Gensler, former chairman of the SEC, also unelected, was lawlessly thwarting the development of financial markets, particularly in the crypto space, by lawlessly pursuing regulation via enforcement? They were nowhere to be seen because they don't care, because all of those things benefited their side of the aisle.
Good night. I need to find out where he is from, like where he is. He's
a lot of people are saying that he's very Clark Kenty, which I guess that's a little thing.
I think he's a cross between Christopher Reeve and Vince Vaughn. Mock.
Vince Vaughn?
Yeah, put a dash of Vince Vaughn in there just for the swagger. You know what
See,
I mean?
I think it's more Clark Kent and that guy that was like the guy from the Top Gun 2. Remember, he's blonde. So I mean, but there's something about the shape of his face. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Glenn,
that he was in
Glenn, what's his name? The Texan guy that was in the Ram commercial. You talking about that guy?
Yes, that guy. Yeah. There's a little bit of him and Clark Kent fused together into one person.
Yeah, it's the whole Texan thing going on. You know, he's got like that kind of way about him. Yeah,
he needs a little bit of sun. I mean, I think he could use a little color.
I mean, so can I. But yeah, I get. Well, it's been a little rainy here, Mock. You gotta give him some. And plus, he's not here. I would imagine he's in Washington, where it's just all the time. So I totally agree with him. I mean, everything that he said is dead on. We need more of that. It's like everybody needs to push back on that whole narrative of he's not elected. He's not elected. Are you, really? Okay.
Let's talk about all the people that aren't elected. Then.
All of them.
Let's just go through it. Okay,
yeah,
this is the dumbest argument ever.
That have affected our daily lives for the eons. These people are just running amok in our government. So that argument doesn't hold water.
Yeah, I suspect we're gonna have more Brandon Gill on our show.
We should get him on our show.
We
Brandon
could.
Gill.
We might be able to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Also, you can never get enough Tim Burchett, who is just the way that he just says anything is so funny to me. It's kind of like he's the new Senator Kennedy in some ways, because here was his little time speaking at committee.
Gentleman from Tennessee.
You're going to put us further in debt with your billionaire
You're
tax
not
cuts.
recognized, Mr. Burchett. You're recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chair Lady. The gravy train, for a lot of these folks, it's been on biscuit wheels, and it's about to run off the dadgum tracks, and it's about time. Could you imagine standing up here and defending waste, fraud, and abuse? But I think that's what we're seeing. When people squeal and don't ask questions, I think it shows the American public what the heck's going on.
Yeah, it does.
And that little gravy train is getting ready to run out. The spigot is getting ready to be turned off.
And they are freaking like a bunch of pigs squealing, trying to get that last bit of food.
Right?
Squealing.
So great. Oh my God.
Dadgum mock.
I love that.
I
love that.
I love him too.
Now, Maxine Waters is not part of the committee, but there was a video that went a little bit viral yesterday of her because the way that she put the way that she turned this phrase about why she's upset with Elon was perfect and accidental, and a lot of people picked up on it. Here it is.
Are being violated because all of our privacy is being taken up by Elon Musk and Trump, and we don't know what all they have on us. We don't know what all they have on us.
Yeah.
What? She doesn't know.
We can find out, Maxine. Yeah.
Oh my God.
America. I live in America. That woman.
That was great.
Really
We
was.
are also going to find out some more of those receipts, kind of like what Karoline was showing in her presser, because here's what Trump said about what's happening today.
Tomorrow I'm having a news conference. I'm going to read to you some of the names that hundreds of millions and even billions of dollars have been given to. And if you tell me that we should be giving money to those things, those entities, I think you'll probably have to leave as a reporter because you're not very talented. When you look at the kind of money, billions and billions of dollars being thrown away illegally, and there's no chance. I mean, I say it in front of our attorney general, there's no chance that there's not kickbacks or something going on. When you give millions and millions of dollars to somebody that stands to look at something for 15 minutes and walks away with millions of dollars, that money's coming back in some form.
Yep.
Yeah, it is. That's how that works. You rub my back, I rub yours. And you know who gets screwed? We do. The American taxpayer has been bent over for years. I don't know about y'all, but I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. I could use so many analogies right here that are just so inappropriate, and I'm just going to choose not to do it.
But just know that they're all swirling in her head.
They're right there. They're right there, you guys. But some kids listen to this show, so I'll be nice.
One of our audience members actually sent us this TikTok about because there's so many lefties who are like, how come we can't get any transparency? Why can't we see what DOGE is doing? And so one of our audience folks sent us this very, very handy video.
Has finally launched a website where we can track all of the waste that DOGE is uncovering. It is called the Department of Government Efficiency Live Tracker, and you can find this at dogetracker.com. And a lot of you had questions about what the website is and what all is on it, so let's break it all down together. We start off with this overview, which basically is showing us the total amount of taxpayer dollars that have been saved, and it even breaks it down by savings per taxpayer. It also shows the total amount of progress they have made towards their goal, and they have even given themselves a deadline of July 4th, 2026. And if all goes as planned, if they can reach 100% of this goal by this date, then the Department of Government Efficiency is going to dissolve itself. Then you have this section titled Predictions by Polymarket, which is kind of fun if you're into this kind of thing. You can basically put money down on whether you think these scenarios will or will not happen. Then you have the leaderboard, which is basically the top departments with the most money saved. And you can organize this by departments, by contracts, and by sectors of the government. And then at the very bottom, you have these two sections. Basically, a section that shows how many employees have accepted the federal buyout, and then one that shows the number of executive orders that Trump has already signed. And then at the very end, you have a long list of all of the wasteful programs that he has found and the amount of money that it costs to fund them. So for those of you that were asking for a running list and an easy way to keep track of everything that DOGE is finding, there it is. I'll put the link here one more time just in case you missed it at the beginning of the video, but make sure that you bookmark this website so that you can stay updated about everything that DOGE is doing.
It's fantastic. But listen, there's no transparency. There's none at all. There's just none.
I mean, it's such a ridiculous claim. And that unhappy blonde on CNN, whose name I can never remember, she had on Scott Jennings, and she was basically spouting this lie that there's been no transparency. It's all, no one can prove anything. There's no evidence. And somebody put that DOGE website behind her, like after the fact, obviously. And so this video is so perfect because as she's complaining to Scott, the actual, I mean, she's being retorted to in real time, and it's fantastic.
Transparent. I mean, there may be they are making routine announcements about the things they are finding, and they are inviting questions about the things they are finding every single day.
But by definition, he's not being transparent. They're not providing data for the things that they say they have found evidence of. They just aren't.
The White House has provided.
You can make announcements, and he also did admit that he actually.
So you just don't believe it. I mean, they are providing information. You just choose not to believe that it's true.
Right. Exactly.
It's right there.
They choose not to believe that it's true, and they also choose to not internalize the fact that these people have been stealing from them too. It goes back to the Stockholm syndrome thing. They want so badly to continue to be Democrat. They're digging their heels in. They're like, but no. I mean, they love me, right? They love my family. They want what's best for me. No, they don't. They've been stealing from you. I'm sorry, but it's kind of like finding out a family member is a criminal.
Yeah.
To these people. I think that's what I liken it to that. Like to the people who are really digging their heels in, it's like finding out somebody that you really love because they really love their government, and they're criminals. They've been stealing from them, and they have to come to terms with that. And they are struggling. They are on the struggle bus, y'all.
Okay. We're going to move on to a whole other topic. And that is, this is the most pointless exercise I've ever seen Democrats undertake, but there are a handful of Democrats, including some of the squad, who have decided to resurrect this whole discussion of reparations. Why? Because they have no power to enact anything right now, but they are bored, I guess, and they're completely ineffective at anything. And so now they've decided they're going to fight for reparations. The first person that you're going to hear from is Representative Summer Lee. And I think she is from Pennsylvania, and she is mad about all the white supremacy in the Trump administration.
Our government, no matter who is in power, has an obligation to right these wrongs, to provide reparations for descendants of enslaved Africans, to eliminate the racial wealth gap, to uplift the Black community. White supremacy is rampant in this country. Just look at the current administration and our own legislative body. They have contributed to the social and economic harms, to racial terror Black folks have experienced in this country. Now, more than ever, we must acknowledge and repair those harms.
Oh my God.
She could ask like the Ukrainian pension holders and all the illegals if they got any of that reparation money, because we don't have it. So if you want that reparation money, you may want to ask them if they got it, because they may have it. The
whole idea is so stupid.
It's insane. But I mean, like, seriously, try getting blood from a turnip, lady. I mean, it's so stupid. It's so stupid. They want more and more and more. Okay. And then they can't recognize the waste that's in their own government. Okay.
Well, but even if we had all the money in the world, it's the dumbest idea ever, because no one alive today is responsible for any slavery, and no one alive today has been a victim of slavery.
Right.
So enough. It's over.
No, I'm not responsible for anybody else's crap right now. In 2025, we're not responsible for anybody else's crap. You're not responsible for their educations. You're not responsible for their car payments. You're not responsible for anything, and let alone reparations.
It's just the dumbest idea.
It is. It's really
There's
stupid.
another representative I've never heard of before who's also on this same kick. Her name is Watson Coleman, and she suggests that Trump, Stephen Miller, and Elon Musk are basically insecure and like inadequate, that they're kind of losers, is what she's implying, which is just so rich. Just take a look at Watson Coleman.
Black excellence scares Donald Trump. It scares Stephen Miller, and it scares Elon Musk, because you know what? Deep down, they recognize their own mediocrity. And so they're doing everything they can to entrench the racial wealth gap.
Listen,
oh my God.
You can call Elon a lot of things, but don't call him mediocre.
Right?
I feel like
so absurd.
He can parallel park a rocket. He's the richest man in the world. I feel like he's done okay with his life. I mean,
he's managed.
I think he's gotten by okay. I don't think that's mediocrity. Come on, that's a stretch.
I know. This is why they continue to just make themselves look dumber and dumber and lose more and more credibility. I don't know why they're masochistic.
Well, the race thing, I think they're digging their heels in on the race thing, and people are really, really sick of that. So, I mean, it's like that Obama brought that in. We saw like the pendulum swing. It went way up, way too far up. And now it's like, it's plummeting. People just we don't care how much melanin is in your skin.
Right.
I'm not like, oh my God, I'm scared of that. No, nobody's.
Well, but Ayanna Pressley says that we need to pay for their healing. Here she is.
Justice. We can legislate healing. And we're certainly long overdue. And for those that would say we need to just get over it, that's interesting. When as a nation, you are benefiting right now from an economy that was built on the brutalized backs and the indignities and the horrors of chattel slavery and our African ancestors.
God, I'm just so tired of this nonsense. Do you know how many white people died to end slavery? That's payback. Okay, there's been enough payback.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So there would be an argument that, it is payback, but I guess those people, like the descendants of those people, could argue that they should get reparations too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, it just never ends. That's the thing. It never ends. There are always people that are going to be like, I'm a victim. I want money. Money will solve it. Like legislation is for healing. No, it's not. Legislation, money, it's not going to heal you. The only thing that's going to heal you is to stop with all of this nonsense, and maybe like not just focus so much on the melanin content in your skin. And then maybe, just maybe, everybody will heal.
Right. We were doing great before Obama.
We were doing
Things
fantastic.
were on a huge upswing until he came around.
Totally.
Okay, switching gears, because now we have a little bit of a montage of crazy to entertain us all. And we start with Tim Walz's daughter, Hope, who continues to be an influencer, I guess, on TikTok. She's mad about Trump's order to keep men out of women's sports. Super mad about it.
Oh.
Here she is whining about it.
Signing an executive order that pertains to 1% of the population is not protecting women. It's setting a dangerous precedent, and it is dangerous for the trans community, women, minorities, anyone who is not a straight white man. Like, seriously, I think a lot of us need to open up a history book, because what's going on right now is textbook. It's textbook. And truly, it's boring, and it's loser behavior. I have never felt unsafe around a trans person. I have felt unsafe around men. So maybe let's deal with that.
What an annoying little brat.
She's like, the apple doesn't fall far, right?
No, it does not.
Yeah. So she says women and minorities are hurt by that executive order. I don't, she's going to have to bring receipts for that, because I don't want a transgender in my daughter's bathroom, and I don't want her playing with boys in sports. You know what I mean? I don't want her doing that, because she could get hurt. And you could also, give her receipts of all of the women who have been physically hurt. Not just emotionally, because I mean, these people are all about the feels. I'm talking about physically hurt in, these situations where these men come into these sports and they hurt these women because they're not women.
Exactly.
Like, my God. So I don't understand. She's saying that women and minorities, like, how are minorities especially affected by this executive order? She's so full of crap. She's just throwing words out there because that's what she's used to hearing. And liberals are like, women, minorities, and oppressed, and like, these are the buzzwords. And then she has to put as many of those buzzwords in her little videos as she can.
And she's got that annoying vocal affect where everything she says is like a question, and she can't just talk like a normal person.
She's Ilhan Omar.
Kind of, only she doesn't have the squeak at the end.
Because Ilhan does that all the time. She's like, I know Ilhan Omar. That's right. She's more squeaky than questiony.
Yeah,
okay,
Ilhan is very squeaky. And speaking of trans people, there was a crazy hearing in Worcester, Massachusetts yesterday, where you're going to see a little montage of the people that were hoping that this city council would vote to make Worcester, Massachusetts a sanctuary for trans people, which now I guess that means like if you're a sanctuary city or county or whatever for trans people, that means you're just going to blatantly disregard whatever the laws are pertaining to trans people. I guess. I mean, I'm assuming that's the case. And they won. These crazy people you are about to see made it happen. There was a committee vote of like 9-2 deciding that this area of Pennsylvania of Massachusetts.
It's Worcester, Mass.
Yeah, would be a sanctuary for trans people. This is actually happening. And here's who these city council people listen to. This is just a little bit.
I need the city to protect me because the federal government won't. And if you think you're afraid of Trump, you should see how afraid of Trump I am.
Can you wrap up, please?
Yes, I can. If you say that you're afraid of Trump and that's why you don't want the city to be a safe space for trans people, you better prepare for trans people to make this a very unsafe space.
Bring it.
I'm shaking right now. I don't want to be here.
Up,
I'm sorry. Am I taking too long pleading for my life?
You remembered how many children I have and that 2 of them are trans.
Of course.
Can you look at me and tell me how many of my friends need to die before you do anything?
Please wrap up.
Look at me.
Okay, we're all done here.
Oh my gosh.
Fucking pathetic.
We're all done. Come on.
Laddie LaRouge, he, they, in drag, District 3.
My legal name is Olivia D'Ambrosio. My public name is Livy Scanlon. My wife and I own a home in the Canal District.
I speak as someone who is always misgendered, like, all the time.
You have to imagine being me and my wife.
No.
Fearing that our marriage rights will be stripped away at any moment.
Nobody wants to
Please,
imagine that.
I only have so much time. Please, Joe's gonna cut me off.
Which matters more? Covering the legal fees of systemic police brutality or protecting the lives of queer people in our community?
Normally I would say good evening, but through the chair I will only impart my sour grapes.
It's an extremely emotional and taxing thing to stand up here as someone as part of the trans and gender diverse community.
My name is Katie. I'm from District 5, and I'm speaking in support of agenda items 10B and 14B.
Is this your God-given name?
Right now in our country, Trump is threatening the trans and gender diverse community.
No.
Okay. Yeah. It's all right. I can't. It's again with the theater kids. Again, they're all out. You guys, this is what we need to do is we need to take that. Well, we need to cut it down because there's so much mental illness there, but we need to cut it.
I cut that down from a much longer montage.
I know there's so much of it yesterday, like just on, and it's just endless. And like, God, if you live in Worcester and you're like I call it Worcester. It's
maybe you're saying I could be saying it totally wrong. I have no idea.
It's spelled Worcester, but it's pronounced Worcester, Mass. That's what they say. Like when you, because
I can't say that or the sauce. I don't know how to say the sauce. It's basically the same thing.
When I lived in Boston, I remember I went to Worcester, I guess, like one day. I had to go there one day for something to do some sort of administrative task. And it was just, I thought it was Worcester, and I was quickly corrected on that.
Oh.
Right. But anyways, we should condense some of this and use it as an ad. We need to use that as an ad for the midterms. Like, and just be like the Democrat Party, everybody.
Behold.
There it is. They're Democrat. All of them are Democrats. And that's not one single person that we saw, individual that we saw is a Republican or a conservative. So use it in an ad.
Yeah, and you could also use this next clip in an ad. This is Democrat Representative Emanuel Cleaver, who is very upset with Musk. And I had to include this because at the end, he tries to call Musk a name. I don't know what, but it ended up just being ridiculous. Here he is.
I'm going to be quick because I want to send a message to somebody. Elon, take your musty millions and musty Moscow rights to the moon. Because if you don't, we're going to stand up, we're going to speak out, we're going to march, we're going to do anything we need to do to make sure that the people of this country understand that the CFPB is for them. You get your musty hands off of our money or go to Moscow. You mustard moo.
You musty moo. What?
That should be in an ad. That should also be in an ad.
Put that in the same ad. Just lump it in there. Are you guys listening? The RNC, are you paying attention? Just start working on it now. Musty moo. But that was so cringe. It was like equal parts cringe and awesome.
That's why, I mean, for sure we had to have it in today's show. Like there was no way we weren't going to have that.
Hashtag musty moo. Hashtag musty moo.
Yeah. And the title for today, I was like, wait, what was it? Moscow mossy moosey musty man? I can't remember. So, but whatever it was amazing.
It is mean to cows. It's mean to cows.
Okay, totally unrelated because these last segments always are. Do you remember Jan Schakowsky?
No. Am I supposed to remember her?
Yeah, Jan Schakowsky. I don't remember. We used to write about her like way back in the Obama days.
Really?
I forget. Is she a representative or is she a senator? I can't remember, but she's in Congress.
Okay.
Yeah. And I just completely forgot she existed. She's obviously aged some, as have we. I mean, that's what happens, right?
We have. Things are starting to fall a little. It happened.
Right.
Uh-huh.
And so, but I love this clip about her because I don't know what hearing this is, but she's apparently asking someone about women entering manufacturing industries.
Okay.
And she believes, so she asks for some stats, like what's the percentage of women that join manufacturing industries? And she's told, and she's wondering out loud if the reason
oh God, here we go.
The reason that women don't go into manufacturing, I'll just play it because you have to hear her rationale.
We got to hear it.
I met with a manufacturing company, but they also are engaged in getting young people more engaged in manufacturing.
Okay.
So I asked them, so how many of those students that are signing up and want to do this, how many are women? And they said, well, I know there's at least 13% or something. It was a low number. And you had mentioned trying to engage more women in manufacturing. I'm just wondering if just the name manufacturing sounds like a guy.
Real life. She thinks that women are turned off from manufacturing because it's called
manufacturing and not woman-ufacturing. It should be lady parts ufacturing. That's what it should be. And then all the women would be like, oh my God, I'm going to do that. I want to do that, Mom and Dad. I want to be in manufacturing because it's called lady parts ufacturing. What is even happening in our world? Like she's in charge of stuff. How does
I just can't.
And this is why, like you guys, you cannot be surprised when we find out all of this waste from DOGE. It's because of when I see stuff like this, I'm like, because everybody running the country is a freaking idiot. Who's just stealing our money. I can't.
But I mean, maybe that's why. Maybe that's why.
Not why. It's
anyway,
not why.
She's still a thing. So
Barbara just pointed out that it's called menopause.
We still have it.
We still go through it. Yeah.
Somebody suggested vagifactory.
Vagifactory. Yes, vagifactoring. Hashtag vagifactoring. Yes, I love it.
Oh my God. All right. It is time for some My Pillow talks. The first one is actually related to DOGE. And so some guy just made a TikTok and these are real. Okay. So everything that you hear in this video is actually real spending, but he made it like a comedy sort of skit, but it's real. Okay. So just soak this in.
Welcome to the Department of Government Efficiency. We were looking over last year's budget and we found some anomalies that we wanted to address. Okay, if you're talking about the military budget, if you want a safe country, that's how much we... Oh, we didn't even start looking at that yet. Get ready for that. No, we were looking at this list here. We wanted to start with the National Pillow Fluffing Initiative. I mean, don't you want your pillow to be fluffy? Not when you're spending over $1 million of taxpayer money. We're cutting that. Also, the Bureau of Elevator Music Standards. Explain yourself. Forgive me for trying to set the vibe, bro. $800,000 a year. The National Velcro Noise Study. What's the problem here? You don't have to spend $1 million a year to know that Velcro noise is annoying. Now, the program of Ice Cube uniformity and the American Cloud Watching Fund. Okay, that one's a problem, but I'm kind of OCD and I like it when my ice cubes are all the same size and shape, you know? Yeah, we all do, but that doesn't mean you spend $1 million. Now, the Federal Kazoo Orchestra grant? It's amazing what they could do with those things, honestly. The Federal Bureau of Traffic Cone Counting? $256,343. You're welcome. Now that's what I call $800,000 well spent.
These are real.
They're real. Those are real. I think some people were just like, hey, like the pillow fluffing. They're like, let's just see if we can get it through.
Yeah, let's see what we can get away with.
Let's see what we can get away with. And they got $1 million. Let's just see, you know? And think of all of those. And they're just like, let's see how far we can go with this and just be complete idiots making up some sort of grant that we need. And they get it. They get it because it is such a grift.
Oh my God.
But you know what? I didn't elect any of those people that decided where the money goes. Did you? Yeah.
All right, moving on to some traditional My Pillow talks. This is a young toddler who is clearly trying to gift his mother something that he finds to be very exciting. I would literally die if this happened to me. And she does not seem particularly happy about it either. Here it is.
Oh my God. I feel like that could have been staged, but it was still really cute. It was really, really cute.
He just put that giant ass frog right on her face.
I know.
I would die.
Boys do that. I mean, it could have been worse. It could have been like a dead animal from the dog.
Oh my God.
I would have been probably better off with the frog.
Oh
yeah.
My God. This next video is in tribute, if you will, to all of the ridiculous influencer videos that women who are like the trad wives. Have you seen the trad wives videos?
Yes, they're everywhere.
And they're all like so perfect and they've got like their old timey dresses on and they make these elaborate meals and they talk in these very soft, breathy voices and they talk about all the natural shit that they do all day. And it's annoying as anything you've ever
God,
seen.
It really is. I'm so over these tags.
But this one is so much better because it's making fun of all of those women in the best, most effective way. Behold.
My kids requested a glass of water, so I started by gathering jars of water that I melted down from freshly fallen snow. I placed them directly beneath the full moon to absorb the moon's energy before adding it to a pan over low to medium heat. To that, I added a few ice cubes that I made out of December's moon water before grating in some ice I harvested directly from a glacier. While that simmered, I chopped up some icicles I had saved from the winter of 1857 and added that in before straining it into a container and setting it aside. To my baking pan, I added some liquefied ice and my water spice and baked that at 750 degrees until it was fully melted. While that baked, I blended up
that would be me. That would be totally me.
Everything into my glass before adding a bit of ice for garnish, removing any impurities, and then gave it a quick taste test before giving it to the children.
You gotta do all that before you give it to the children. Remember when like our moms and our grandmas and well, I mean my mom not so much because she worked outside the home, but like grandmas, they didn't do that. They just lived their lives. You know what I mean? they just lived their lives and did the thing, and it wasn't
even actual traditional wives didn't do this shit.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's what the actual traditional wives did not do that. They didn't do that. And they weren't like, and then I went to Trader Joe's and you have to go there because everything's organic and
you need organic water.
And if you don't have organic water, you're killing your children. Why do you want to kill your children? Why?
Yeah, a lot of people are pointing out we drank out of a hose.
Right.
Okay. And we're fine.
Enough. Yeah, but the traditional parents that we had were like, go play in the street for 12 hours.
I don't want to see you until dark. Oh my gosh. All right. We do have an adorable little wiener dog who got himself into a little pickle, which you will see here.
I left my house for literally 10, maybe 15 minutes.
Oh.
And I come home and I hear Grizzly crying. And I'm like, oh, maybe he's in the girls' room. Nope. This dude stuck his whole body inside a little jacket.
Oh my gosh, he's
Isn't
so
that the
cute.
cutest?
He is a pickle in a pickle.
I do love the wiener dogs.
Oh, I
do
do
love
too.
them.
They're so cute.
They're so funny. Okay, this last one, I was telling Daisy before pre-show that you know how Elon Musk always worries about human population. He's always encouraging people to have a zillion babies. And I feel like if they just would have showed this adorable TikTok during halftime at the Super Bowl, the babies would be exploding all over the place. People would be procreating out of their minds. They would be having so many babies because it's just a new mom who's just soaking in her new baby. And it's so sweet. It makes my non-existent ovaries like just want to do the things. You know what I mean? Like my ovaries are dead, you guys. They're dead. I don't even have a uterus, but my ovaries are like, we're done here. Okay.
Right.
But man, this is the cutest.
Feeding him and he just like cuddles up on me like this. How am I supposed to put him back in the car seat to drive home? I don't want to.
God.
He's being so sweet. He's been so good. He ate 45 minutes after he was supposed to. Now he just wants to cuddle. It's like rainy. We're eating at home tonight.
Seriously.
I love being a mom. I want nothing more in this life but to have like a million more babies, honestly.
They are. I know, right? They're the best. We were talking about that before the show this morning about how I love being a mom now, but at that stage at the beginning where a lot of people complain and they're just like, I'm so tired. You know, it's like, this is the worst part. Oh my God, I freaking loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it. Infants.
I was a great mom to baby. I always say this to my husband that like I was a kick-ass mom from 0 to like 5 or 6. And then I was like, you deal with this now. You know what I mean? So from like 6 to, I don't know, 12. About 12, 13, I was just like, you just go do all the sports things and the whatever. And then I'll rejoin like when he's a teenager. Cause like 0 to 5, man, I was awesome.
It may be different for, moms of boys than it is for moms of girls. I don't know. I have no idea. But man, I have loved all of it. But when she was cuddly, because now she doesn't want to cuddle. She's 15.
Right.
She hasn't wanted to cuddle since she was like 7, But there's a point, and somebody said this once to me about how there's going to be a last time that you put them down, you pick them up and you put them down. And
I think that was me. I think I was the one that said.
I think it was you, Mom.
Yeah.
And you don't know when that's going to be. And then you look back and you're like, oh my gosh, I think that's when she was like 6, and it breaks your heart because you want so bad to be able to do what she's doing in the car with that baby.
Yeah.
Ugh. Oh God, kids are so great. Have all the kids. If you're conservative, have all the kids, all of them.
Seriously. But it is hard because like when they grow, it's like you're being broken up with over and over and over again.
You are being broken.
You know what I mean?
They break up with you on a daily basis. Even the girls break up with you. They break up with you.
It's tough. It is tough. All right. We've got some thank yous on Venmo. Suzette Paramore says, hi, chicks. By the way, I have 2 Roombas. Here we go. Roomba's still monopolizing the conversation.
Still talking about it.
Roomba in the front of the house is named Hazel after the old TV show. My other Roomba in the back of the house is named Rosie from the Jetsons. So she's got 2 with 2 names.
Okay.
Teresa Chacon says, my daughter's young brother-in-law from Dallas recently married a chick from Indiana. I was stalking his Facebook page. He's a teacher at Seven Oaks Classical School in Ellettsville, Indiana. They teach civics. I've never even heard of Ellettsville.
I've never heard of Ellettsville either. And like I don't know where.
Yeah, I don't know where that is.
Yeah.
Huh. Then over on locals, Audrey Krause 5 says, fossil Mitch McConnell is getting rolled in to vote against the Trump agenda. The only Republican to not vote for Tulsi. He is a piece of garbage.
Yeah, he is. He's got to go. He really has to go. Is it my turn?
Now you.
Okay, Stevie J, for Daisy, some coffee. She seems to need more this morning. Do I look that tired? Do I?
What does that mean?
That
was at 8:03. So like, I don't even know what that means.
Probably right after we started. I was messing things up, I think. I was like not reading things on the screen. I do that every day though. So it's not out of the ordinary. Mendy Owens, I put you in my pocket yesterday and didn't get to say hello to my fellow chicksters. I'm so excited to be working on your taxes this year. Yay. I love doing taxes. Somebody's got to, right? Happy Valentine's Eve, Mock and Daisy.
Aww.
Mendy. Yes. And taxes, you guys get on it. That'll make more people interested in Doge too, is when they get gouged for taxes this year.
Yeah.
Let's see. For Stevie J, for coffee for Mock. Her segues are lacking this morning.
I know. My first one was really bad. I was just like, hey, by the way, I need to say this.
I thought they've been great. We're doing the best we can this morning. It's Thursday. We're on the downhill slope to Friday. Karen Elliott. I thought den naming was mean. Gulf of America.
That's true. We shouldn't be using the dead name.
Right. Exactly. Robin Solomon Dye. Mock. Today, 2/13 is Robbie Williams' 51st birthday.
Oh my gosh. Happy birthday to Robbie.
You should have known that.
I should have known that.
Yeah, that's crazy. JMO. Good morning, jerks. My Roomba is called Sheena from the Tone Loc song Funky Cold Medina. Sheena was a man. Take my money. Oh my God. We have a Funky Cold Medina song. Like we have a story about that song.
We do? Oh my God. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, I don't know.
We do have a story about that song.
We don't have time to tell it, but we'll have to tell that at some point.
Yeah, that'll be for another time.
Yeah. Shelley Ethington. Does anyone else find it amusing that they EDS for the ones who hate Elon? Elon derangement syndrome. Yes.
Oh.
Erectile dysfunction syndrome. Sorry, not sorry. Yeah. The connection between the two. Marcus Drake. Brandon Gill has a certain Clark Kent look about him. Yes, he does. Stevie J. Notice it's mainly the younger Dems that are being the loudest. Most of the older, more experienced Dems know this is a career-ending argument. Yeah, because they know their gravy train is ending. They're freaking out.
It's true.
But they probably made so much money that they're like, well, it doesn't matter anymore. I'm worth like.
Or they're like Maxine and we're like, we don't know what they have on us.
Totally. Kim Fournier, we voted for Brandon in Wise Country. He is Dinesh's son-in-law. Oh my gosh.
Is that right?
He's Dinesh.
So his daughter Danielle is married to him?
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
We know Dinesh. We're going to have
then
to
we have an in. We'll get an in. We'll ask Dinesh if he can get Brandon on our show.
Thank you for telling us that, Kim, because we're buds with Dinesh. We had no idea. What a connection. Okay. Laura Lynn, 6'10". Brandon Gill reminds me of a young Keanu Reeves.
Keanu.
Yeah. Penny Perdue. Gill represents the 27th district in Texas, right above Dallas and Fort Worth. Love you, jerks. Falls. Yeah, that's it. I love that area up there. I love Fort Worth especially. It's my favorite. Bo Mama 8. Woohoo! A way to track the spending results. I clearly asked my question a day too early. Thank you for sharing this. So now you guys can go to Doge Tracker. Doge-tracker. Okay, Penny Perdue. I meant the 26th district. Fat finger. Sorry. That's okay. Stevie J. The African ancestors sold your African ancestors into slavery. These people need to study history and understand it. It scares me that these are the people in charge. Agreed.
Yeah.
Totally
it
agreed.
Is scary.
Carrie O'Neill. Thank you, sweet chicks, for bringing joy to the day. Thank you, Carrie.
Aww.
Bad Duck. Make asylums great again. Yeah, we totally
for real.
Need to make mental institutions great again for sure. Dee Dee Thomas, Ayanna Presley is looking like RuPaul. She is.
Oh yeah, she does.
She totally does, Dee Dee.
They do look alike.
You better work. Supermodel. Okay, Matthew Dixon. People with bonus holes factoring.
That's kind of a mouthful.
It is a little bit. I kind of like the badge factoring. I think that
right
works pretty well. Aaron Powers, stuff like that makes me want to go back into the closet. Please know they don't represent most of the LGBs. It's infuriating to us normal gays. I bet it is, Aaron. It's got to be because, like, yeah, you just need to take all the tea and all that crap, all the spirit animal stuff away. Was the spirit? What is it? Spirit?
Two spirit.
I said spirit animal. Two spirit. Take it away from the
all regular. The plus, like the plus. Just
right. Keep it away from the normal.
Divorce
gays.
Them.
Don Quixote, maybe it's not the man in manufacturing that's the problem. What if we change it to manufeelering? Would that appeal to liberals? It's the fact. They don't like the fact.
It's the fact.
You gotta replace it with feels. Good point, Don Quixote. Brian Brumley, Miriam, did you find your glasses?
I did. I did. I'll be prepared tomorrow. Don't you worry.
Oh my God. So excited about that. SKW Mock. I named 2 Roombas. One is Grizzly the Pomeranian. The other is Francesca the Shih Tzu. Who needs a Roomba when you have dogs?
Dogs. Oh my gosh.
Randy Craig. Roomba name Taylor Swiffer. That is awesome, Randy. Jose Rodriguez, morning from Texas. About the mom water. To be fair, the water is making frogs, and some people gay. Just take my ice baby money. ice baby money. All right. You guys are bringing it in.
One more thing. Just a real quick shout out to Via, who sent a Valentine's Day card. And thank you to everybody who sent Valentine's Day cards. But Via sent a Sonic gift card in hers. And I definitely appreciate that.
I want to thank Via too for sending my daughter a Starbucks gift card for her birthday. Because she's like the third grandma in our house.
She really is
so much.
Yeah.
Via, thank you so much for always spoiling us. You're awesome. We love you. You guys have a wonderful Thursday, and we will talk to you tomorrow.
Hello, beautiful people. This is the Chicks on the Right's Indian correspondent. Thank you for watching or listening. Be very sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to stay up to date on all of their delicious content. Okay, thank you. Come again.